Hello folks, my name is Mark and this is Why I Hate the World. How's everybody doing? So before we start off here, one thing I want to say is I want to apologize for not getting any videos out lately. I've been really busy, been having a really awesome year actually. I met a really awesome girl and everything's really cool. So she's the best. And I've moved into a new place, which you can see behind me. The big doors poster is gone. I moved into a new place, which is twice the size of my old place and like less than $100 more, which is fucking awesome. And I also got promoted at work and got a raise and everything, so it's fucking awesome, dude. I've like moved to a new place. I'm getting laid regularly. I'm like making a bundle, you know, so I haven't really had a lot of stuff to complain about. My life is actually really good. So anyway, sorry about that, but I'll try to get videos out more in a more often, you know, better schedule or whatever. So I made a few videos last year about challenging libertarians and free market anarchists and such, and it seems that these videos get more hits than my usual videos because they tend to attract a bunch of like right-wing libertarian objectivist douchebags. I mean, half the comments that I get on these videos are people telling me to fuck off or calling me stupid because they had like, you know, I had the audacity to challenge their fucking economic religion, you know. And the rest of the comments are like these people just repeating the same tired-ass arguments, you know, the same fucking idiotic, disproven bullshit just over and over and over and over and over again. Like somehow that it just, like if they just keep fucking posting it, it'll make it true. And I don't know what it is, but these people, it's something about like being an objectivist, you know, Ayn Rand kind of Ron Paul person means that, you know, you just have to post like 5,000 times. I mean, I don't really know why, but I just noticed that, like, that guy Shane DK, you know, a few months back I made a video in response to a dude named Shane DK who has kind of like a following, and then he like posted like 200 fucking times on one of my videos, and then this guy here is doing the same thing. But anyway, I don't know. This video is about a guy named Marc Abela, I guess, and he looks like he's some dude that, posting on one of my videos about the Sikh temple. Anyhow, he's doing the same fucking thing. He's posting like 5 billion times in a row, you know, and you answer something and then whatever, and you know, the guy obviously wants some attention, right? I tried to like have a conversation with him and it's just fucking ridiculous, so I thought I'd make this video. And I was gonna go and just make like a 2-hour-long video and just answer like every single thing he's ever posted, but fuck that shit, I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'm just going to answer a few of the more wacky comments, right, and, you know, because fuck this guy. And so one of the things that Mark keeps saying is that, and this is something I've heard from a lot of different, like, libertarian, arachno-capitalist sort of, you know, types, is that this idea that a country is a human farm, and that we're all held like property, and that the governments of the world extract taxes from people in their countries the same ways that, like in the same manner that a farmer takes milk and eggs from, you know, the animals on his farm, right? And that taxes are slavery, you know, even if 99% of the people in the country vote for the tax, because the one guy who didn't vote for it is still involuntarily paying them, and he's being forced to, and all that shit, you know. So it's the same thing as like, you know, that somehow is the same thing as like being in a dark alley and having like a guy come up and stick a fucking gun in your face and like steal your wallet, you know, even though it's totally not, but whatever. And that, you know, we have no rights and no recourse, and no matter where you go, it's all the same. And the only real solution is to do away with governments altogether, and that the president is little more than a pharaoh, and you're all slaves, and blah, 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 blah. It's slavery, slavery, taxes are slavery, all that shit, you know. And this is like, I've heard the same kind of thing before. It's just this idiotic kind of arachno-capitalist kind of anarchist fucking claptrap, you know, and you hear from people like fucking Stefan Molyneux, or whatever to pronounce his name, you know, Molyneux, I guess it's French. Like, he's a guy on YouTube who has like kind of a big following, right? And he says shit like this, and it's funny, I bet Mark probably follows this dude, you know, and it's the kind of thing that like they say, and it makes you sound intelligent when you say it, you know, but it really ultimately doesn't hold up in the real world, you know, at all, in the slightest. And it's like, so I want to examine this nation state as a human farm metaphor, because it seems to me that this metaphor fails on many levels, many levels, you know. And the first of those levels being that if your country is a farm, then there has to be a farmer, correct? You know, farmer. Somebody has to be, you know, because what is a farm exactly? A farm is, it's a organization where a farmer exploits animals for his own personal gain, ultimately, right? So if your country is a farm, then who's the farmer? Well, according to Mark, it's the leader of that country, you know, so whether it's, you know, and the leader of the United States would be Barack Obama, so the President Obama is the farmer in the country of the, in the farm, the human farm that is the country of the United States, right, according to this fucking guy. So I guess the current leader then is supposed to be the farmer. Well, you know, first off, if the farmer exploits animals for his own personal gain, then that means that Obama is exploiting the people in the country for his own personal gain, right? Well, the problem is that Obama only gets paid about $400,000 a year, right? While the federal tax, you know, this is not even talking about state tax. Federal tax receipts was somewhere in the area of $2.5 trillion, you know, in fiscal 2011. So, you know, how come the farmer of the human farm that is the United States is only getting 0.00001%, you know, 16% or some shit of like all the fucking tax money? You know, he's that seems to be a very, very teeny tiny percentage of the overall harvest from his farm, right? And so this is something I brought up, and, you know, it took 8 fucking comments, and then finally Mark got back to me, and he finally told me where the fucking answer, you know, where the money went. Marc Abela, it is a farm. If I die tomorrow, it will still be a farm. Nothing to do with me. Toyota-san sold cars. Lucas makes movies. Kings and presidents farm kids. The money raised, farmed in the U.S. 2x times 10 E12 USD first goes to pay for, like in any farm, roofs and roads and buildings and for the animals, bits of health care to ensure cows survive, enough education to make sure animals know the pledge, and cool houses, office, pensions, armies, salaries, parties for those who are on the farmers' team's payroll. That took like 8 fucking comments to get to. Alright, long story. So, I guess the answer is the money goes to buying infrastructure and paying people in the country, right? So I suppose this stupid-ass metaphor, then, it means that the money is going to maintaining the farm, right? If we're going with the farming metaphor, that means that all of that money is going to maintaining the farm. Well, the thing is, that's not a very efficient fucking farm now, is it? You know, it's a farm that takes 99.9999984% of the fucking harvest to maintain. That's idiotic. Alright, it's just fucking idiotic. It doesn't make any sense. It's a metaphor that's idiotic. Secondly, you know, on a real farm, right, cows and pigs and chickens and shit are like the property of the farmer, correct? So he buys and he sells them and he slaughters them as he sees fit. So another thing I asked him is, well, does the President of the United States personally own you? Okay, can he sell you to other countries and mate you with people to fucking produce stronger offspring and then like fucking put you out to pasture and like send you to the slaughterhouse when you get old? And I tried to ask fucking Mark, you know, this Marc Abela, this fucking comment, and after like, you know, 6 or 7 fucking comments, you know, of other rambling bullshit, he first tried to tell me that the answer to your question doesn't exist. And then he tried to compare the answer to that question to quantum mechanics, saying that he couldn't answer it in 500 YouTube in a 500-word YouTube comment, because I pretty much forced him to like fucking stick to one comment because he kept posting like 17 times in a row, and I was like, post once and just fucking be precise and tell me your fucking answer, you know, and don't ramble on. And it was like, I can't leave this, you know, I can't post this in one comment, right? This is what I mean when I said earlier that this arachno-capitalist bullshit makes you sound intelligent, but really it doesn't hold up, right? The guy can't even explain his own stupid fucking metaphor, okay? So the correct answer to that, of course, is no, right? You're not a slave, okay? Generally, in most countries in the world, and especially in the Western fucking countries like the United States and Europe and so on, you can do what you want. Alright, you can go where you want, you can fucking live where you want, you can have sex with whoever you want, you know, you can have as many kids as you want, you can choose to not have kids. You can choose what kind of work you want to do, You can choose to not do any work at all and just be a lazy bum. I mean, normally nobody, in most countries in the world, there's nobody with a gun to the back of your head forcing you to live somewhere and do certain things and like work for the state, okay? Maybe in like North Korea or some shit, but that doesn't really happen in the majority of the fucking world, alright? The leader of your country can't buy and sell you like a cow, right? He can't rent you out to other countries, right? I mean, he can't fucking do any of that shit, especially not in the United States, right? Or Europe or Japan, okay? And generally, in most countries in the world, the leaders of that country are held to the same laws as you are, okay? Now, is there corruption? Of course there is, alright? Nobody's saying that there isn't corruption, right? And that there isn't, like, an elite and all that shit, because there is, okay? But life in the 21st century is a lot different than the way a pharaoh in ancient Egypt, like, enslaving people and forcing them to build pyramids and shit, alright? It just doesn't fucking compare. And when you sit there and you go, like, oh, Obama's a pharaoh extracting you like a human, it's bullshit. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. You know, and then of course, I guess what he's saying by that, you know, when people like Stephen Molyneux or whatever say, like, you know, you're a slave, I guess what they're really saying is that you're a wage slave, right? Well, that's a lot different than, like, being like a real slave, like in fucking Django Unchained and everything, right? Yeah, maybe you're a wage slave, right? Maybe you've worked your way into a situation where you can't afford not to work for a certain point or whatever, but that's a lot different than what the metaphor is fucking saying. And honestly, if you're a wage slave, it's your own fucking fault, alright? Pay off your debt, stop using credit cards, and, you know, get your fucking life in order, okay? I'm not a fucking wage slave. Well, not that much. I mean, but the thing is, there's nothing, I don't know. That's another video, alright? Now, another comment that Mark left here that I wanted to address because it just blew me away was that he claimed on my Sikh temple video that it was because of taxes that massacres happen, like the Sikh temple massacre, and that countries that have higher taxes have higher suicide rates, right? Both of these things are demonstrably bullshit. They're completely untrue, you know. And Mark, like a lot of people who believe in this free market, arachno-capitalist, fuck you, I'm not sharing economic religion, you're right, seems to be unable to wrap his fucking head around the fact that a government would have the audacity to coerce people into paying taxes, alright? And, you know, and then turn around and, like, use those taxes to do things like, you know, provide education and healthcare and roads and all that other infrastructure so that people can have lives and whatever, okay? And this is what you always hear from people like this, you know, when they say taxes are slavery, you know, or taxes are thievery, right? That's why you always hear it from these guys, because, you know, they can't understand that, you know, that it's not immoral. And apparently for Mark, it's not good enough just to call taxes thievery, right? Because he has to make up these fucking bullshit lies to go with it. You know, so to Mark and people of his ilk, I mean, it's just utterly unjust and unfair that they would have to pay for something, and then when they themselves don't get like 100% benefit from it, you know. And I think that is one of the biggest flaws in the whole philosophy, the whole libertarian, objectivist, arachno-capitalist milieu, you know, is that it demonstrates how utterly, completely selfish and unrealistic the philosophy actually is, okay? Societies are cooperative by nature. You know, that's what a society is. People cooperating with each other in order to accomplish things that they can't do on their own, right? And even our civilization that we have here, you know, our economic system is capitalism with competition and all that. It's still cooperative to some extent, okay? You don't just go out and dominate people through force or whatever. You don't force people to buy your product, right? You don't force people to work with you, right? You cooperate by using currency in order to, you know, create capital and pay people and shit like that, all right? And the thing is what these people don't understand, what they don't get is that when a government taxes you and then they spend the money, right, you do benefit, okay? When the government builds interstate highways, or it gives grants to medical or scientific research, or it funds public schools, you know, or police forces or fire protection, so on, everybody benefits, all right? You can't hire people if they're too stupid to read, all right? You can't run a business if there's fucking roving gangs of fucking hooligans running around burning shit down and looting, all right? You can't fucking run a business if, like, a fire starts and then, like, it burns the entire fucking city down, all right? You can't run a business if there's no road for people to like drive up to your fucking place. You know, I want to open a drive-through restaurant. If there's no fucking street, guess what? My drive-through restaurant fails, all right? Who builds these things, okay? Do you personally go out and build your own street? Is that how it works? You know, it's like, okay, let's say we got rid of the government and there's no more fucking taxes. Am I just going to go hire a bunch of dudes with shovels and like build my street and nobody else is allowed to use my fucking street? No. That's bullshit. That's not how it fucking works, all right? And there's no country in the world that has ever worked that way, and it never will work that way because it's fucking idiotic, all right? And the thing is, so when the government does go and makes infrastructure, you're benefiting, okay? Everybody's benefiting, right? And even if you benefit indirectly, you're fucking benefiting, right? And not only do you benefit from the fucking infrastructure, you benefit from the money being injected into the economy. The people that go out and they build the roads and the schools and the teachers and the firemen, they spend that money at your business and you fucking benefit from that. And then that's, you know, it's one of the ways in which the economy is, you know, stimulated. That's why you hear things like they have stimulus packages and there's a big deal over this fucking sequester and shit like that because it's removing money from the economy, all right? So don't tell me that you're getting nothing for this money that the government farms from you, all right? Because that's bullshit, because you are, okay? And don't tell me that taxes are a form of thievery either, because that's bullshit, all right? I've gone over this point in my other videos, and I'll say it again here because it's true, okay? Taxes are not thievery, all right? Because you have a say in how the taxes, you have a say through the political process and how the tax laws are written, all right? You have input, okay? No matter how small that input is, you have some input on how tax law is written and who gets taxed and how much and what portion of your income is taxed, or if you're just simply not taxed at all, all right? That's how democracy works. The people that fucking go out there and put the work into it and get their guy elected, right? They elect their representatives who decide how the country's going to be run, and part of that is creating tax policy, okay? Now, if you think the political process is flawed or that there's too much corruption or whatever, that's a different story, all right? But the state, you know, but to say that the state, you know, that taxes its citizens and that's somehow fucking immoral, that's bullshit, right? It's not immoral to tax people. It's not immoral to spend the taxes that you took from the people on creating infrastructure and running the country, all right? You know, seriously. And, you know, I mean, the thing is, if you think it's unfair, then go out there and change the law. You know, like I had another guy here that on one of my videos, like, that left a comment that said, well, 1 million people voted for Gary Johnson this last election. And so those 1 million people were voting to lower taxes, right? So therefore, it's fucking immoral to force those 1 million people to, like, pay taxes, right? And, you know, that's not how it works. That's bullshit, okay? It doesn't work that way. The president of the United States, Barack Obama, won the election, right? He won with 55 million votes, okay? And he ran on the fact that he was going to raise taxes. So guess what? That means the people voted to raise fucking taxes on a 55-to-1 fucking ratio, okay? According, you know, if it was Gary Johnson versus Barack Obama, no taxes versus fucking taxes, 55 people to 1. That's how it fucking worked, all right? So that's fucking democracy. All right, so how about instead of complaining about how all the taxes are unfair and shit like that, you just go out and you work harder, you know, and get your fucking guy elected, okay? Then you get to, you know, you get to fucking cut all the taxes you want, you know. Once your guy is in charge, once you people are in charge, right, you get to do what you want, you know. You get to fucking change all the tax laws, and then I can't say shit until the next election, okay? That's how democracy fucking works. Now, if you think that the political process is flawed or that it's immoral in the first place or whatever, that's fine. But if you choose to not participate in the political process, that is your problem, not mine. Okay, our guy won, your guy didn't. Too fucking bad. Taxes went up. Democracy in action, all right? And I think, you know, that's, I don't know. I think I'm just going to continue to get, because it's really, at this point, the entire, the libertarian arachno-capitalist thing, it's like a religion. That's what it is. It's a religion about economics, because it's based on, like, faith and, like, fairy tales. You know, it's pretty much at this point, like, been rejected as false by anybody else out there with a fucking brain. And it's a philosophy, it's a selfish philosophy for selfish people, you know, by the fact that it's like they don't, you know, you don't understand. It's a philosophy for people who think the entire world is all about them. And it's like, it's not about you, it's about everybody, right? I don't know, folks. So, adios.